and all the ways to make sure your product gets out there and you can be supporting it through the magic of email. And email absolutely can help you keep your retention up and your costs down. And we'll take a look at tons of examples from newspapers and how they're making this happen through registration and contests and surveys and those targeted email campaigns. And we'll look at a lot of those for helping you acquire, retain, and build loyalty with your readers. And this is the second in our series of Inland Magical webinars, and we had appointed people wizards, and there's some of your favorite wizards there, Patty and Carla from down at the Mega Conference.
I thought we told you to destroy that picture and never to use it again.
I couldn't resist. I figured there's some people here that may not have seen them before. So we'll move on and just talk about the agenda, but I had to share your photos because you guys are wizards. And what the magic means, and it is about mobile friendly, using email for acquisition and activation to generate revenue, increase loyalty, and compelling content. And so that's how we'll be breaking things up as you're looking at them today. If you do not know Presslop Interactive, we have a platform called DatEbase, which manages all of the stuff that you're going to be seeing that people are doing, and it helps you build your database and pull information in and be able to create the campaigns and promotions so that you can send emails and then that analysis and being able to look at it. And part of what we do as well is helping you with all of that. So let's start with mobile friendly. And you know, this part isn't so much about the acquisition and the activation and the rest of it, but it is about making sure that those email campaigns are effective for you. And it's so critical because mobile, where you're reading your emails, and if you guys think about where you're reading your own emails, you'll realize that more often than not, if you're not sitting at your desk, it is absolutely on your devices and you're looking at them frequently. And 66% of emails were opened on a smartphone or tablet by the end of last year. And so it's really critical to think about that when you're creating those emails. And again, email is the #1 thing people do on their smartphones. So it's important to be thinking mobile when you're creating your emails. And I love this stat and hate it at the same time, but because if you get in a mobile email, so people were surveyed, if you get an email that doesn't look good on your mobile device, what do? 70% of people said they delete it. So it's so critical that you make sure that those emails are effective on mobile devices. So how do you do that? A few little tips and checklists, and some of this you may have seen in the past, but it's about making sure that they're concise and tight and breaking them into scannable little bits and using bullet points. And of course, actually increasing the font sizes so that the headlines and the body text are a little bit bigger, because no matter what your age, those phones are very hard to read. A lot of text and copy in an email on your eyes. And then in helping increase the open rates, you want to be thinking about that subject line and the pre-header. And of course, you've always needed to think about the subject line. That's such a critical part of how people decide whether they're going to open the email. In mobile devices, those subject lines, what you see is a little bit shorter. So you want to think about making sure that that headline, that subject line pops. And then on phones or on tablets, there's also something called the pre-header, which is just the first 50 to 100 characters of your email copy. So what you've got up front is visible, and it's those things combined plus the from name, that it's coming from you guys, are the things that are making people think about, am I going to open this? Am I going to save it for later? Am I going to delete it or ignore it altogether? So think about those things. And then just a note on canned spam, making sure that you've got your physical street address in every email and that ability to opt out in every email. You know, canned spam regulations have been around since 2003, and they really haven't changed at all in that amount of time. And yet we still see emails out there in the world that don't have those two things, the address and the ability to opt out. So whether you're working with us, where it's just an automatic thing, or whatever platform you're using, it's really, really critical that you make sure that your emails are canned spam compliant. And thinking very specifically about mobile, and again, you've all done this yourselves because you go to click on some link on the phone or on the tablet, and you click on the wrong thing. So you want to make sure you leave enough space, you make those images big enough for people to click on. And then also the navigation bar, your typical navigation bar just doesn't work on mobile devices, so you don't want to be using those within emails. Images, and this is probably one of my biggest pet peeves, and you'll hear me say mantras on this over and over and over again, is that you can't use the images to define what's in the email. They really are the eye candy, because images may be blocked, and they're blocked on an awful lot of devices, and I'm going to show you some examples of those distinctions in just a moment. But there's a lot of email clients that block images by default. So if you're relying on your email, the image, to tell the story, a lot of people aren't going to be seeing it. What can help is that alt text. And when you see on the right-hand side here, you see what an image looks like that doesn't have any alt text. There was no copy put in at the same time the image was added into the email. So you have no idea what it is. If you add that alt text, you have at least a shot of people going, oh, that's something interesting. I want to actually stop and download those images. So the emails that are just one big giant image and there's no copy along with it, those are the things that, A, people aren't going to be able to read. They're going to be more likely to hit that delete key, like we saw a few minutes ago. But it also has an impact on your spam filters, because a low text-to-image ratio in some spam filters is kind of the score, part of the score that helps decide, hey, am I going to deliver this one, or am I going to put it in their junk mailbox? So be thinking about that. It's really important. And my favorite examples here about to illustrate that difference. So on the left and on the right, two decent-looking emails. The one on the left is actually really, really pretty, but this is what it looked like on my desktop. This is what it looked like on my phone, because all it was one big image. I saw nothing. So I have no idea what the content is, and as fast as I can click on the, load the images, I can also click delete. So you're better when you have something like on the right, where it's not quite as pretty as the actual email itself, but at least because there's the text, because there's a balance of text and graphics, you can get the gist on what the content is, and more motivated for me to download that and check it out. Last couple of things on creating effective emails, regardless of whether they're mobile friendly or not. Obviously, that call to action, really important. What do you want them to do? Where do you want them to click? And using that email to drive people to get more information or to make that phone call. You don't have to put all the content in the email. You just want to give them enough to tease them to want more. And design, particularly thinking in a mobile world, 600 pixels width for the email. That's kind of the maximum width that's recommended these days. And as you're putting in phone numbers and you're putting in email addresses, be thinking mobile, be thinking about the fact, gee, I want them to call and renew their subscription right now or start a subscription right now, that they can click on that phone number and call immediately, so that the way that you format those phone numbers is clickable and mobile. And responsive design is actually, I'm sure many of you have got your sites in responsive design. Be thinking about converting your emails to being responsive design as well. And then the last thing is about testing it. And we're all building these emails on our desktops, and so we get them and we look at them and they look fabulous. It's so important that you're also testing them, that you're putting whatever email address you can pull up on your phone into that test queue, so that before you schedule it and before you hit send, that you've taken a look at it on one of your mobile devices, just to make sure it's working as well on that mobile device as it is on your desktop, because again, up to 66% of the people who are reading it on those mobile devices. So there's some general email best practices. Now let's talk about how to use that email for the A's, the acquisition and the activation. Well, to do so, one of the key things that you want to have is all of your data in one place. And you'll see all the different kinds of campaigns that can be done when you're pulling your data from all, circulations, newsletter sign up, and your web sign up, and the events that you go to, contests that are done, and you can bring them all into one place. It allows you to do a lot more targeted email marketing campaigns. Great example here where they're pulling in their registered website users, and they know who the website users are that have registered with them but are not subscribers. Being able to try and convert those people to becoming subscribers has been something that the Jackson Hole News and Guide has been working on over the last year, and having some very nice success with almost every single campaign that they're doing. They're able to measure and find the exact number of subscribers they got from those campaigns. So in this example right here, they had a book that they were giving away when you became a subscriber, and so They sent an email out to just those people in their segmented database who are registered website users but not subscribers, and had a 40% open rate, really terrific open rate on that. And they got 36 new subscribers just from this one campaign. And they've got numerous examples like this where, because they've got a great offer and because they're targeting it just to those people who are not subscribers, they're generating success. But at the same time, they're not getting those, hey, I want that rate or I want that deal too, from the current subscribers. So that segmentation and targeting is really important. Similarly, the Post Bulletin, they have been doing their Black Friday sale for years, they said. And this year, they did what they've always done, promote it in print, promote it with an insert, promote it on their website. But they added an email campaign, and they sent that email. They targeted that email just to former subscribers who are database members and database members who've never been subscribers. So they were able to identify and isolate those people in their database and send out that email telling them about that Black Friday sale. And their results were phenomenal. I mean, to them, it really showed the power of email because they generated, 4 times as many subscriptions from their Black Friday sale, similar thing that they've been doing every single year, and the email was the one differentiator. So as you see the quote down at the bottom, we usually acquire dozens, and this year we got hundreds. So the power of that email, and again, being able to target it just to the people who were not subscribers, so you're not giving those offers or showing those offers to the current subscribers who are then going to say, hey, I want to take advantage of that too. I love this series of campaigns that the News Press Gazette does because they're emails that are going out with special offers all have fun little themes around holidays or made-up holidays or taking advantage of Throwback Thursdays. So it's not always just about the price. And I get the emails from the New York Times wanting me to renew my mobile subscription on a regular basis. And every single one of those is really just it's all about price, it's all about price, here's a deal, here's a deal. And these are also about, we've got a great offer for you, but I think the fun actually really draws better attention to them. If you're not doing gift subscriptions, we hear great success from that from our clients all the time, good open rates, and the holidays, Father's Day, Mother's Day, graduation time, even back to school, and you can probably come up with some others as well, where everybody in your database, your subscribers and your non-subscribers, encourage them to be sharing your product and giving a gift subscription. And the last way to be able to use your database to help with some acquisition, well, it's not the last way, but the last example I'm sharing here is a contest, in fact, where people could enter to win a subscription. Well, if those folks are interested in winning a subscription, they might, in fact, be interested in paying for one because, of course, only one person is going to win. So the email on the left is showing the, hey, click here to enter. So they're sending that out to their entire database. And the email on the right is the email that went back to the people who entered the contest. So they were able to say, hey, so-and-so is the winner, but we'd like to make you a winner too. Here's a special opportunity for you to get a subscription to the paper. Sticking within the A's and talking about activation. I had a marketing director who said something to the effect of, whenever we want our readers to do something, whether it's for ourselves or for our advertisers, all we have to do is send an email and they respond. And that's so true because that email can be the key to activating any of the products that you want to be promoting. So digital activation and getting people to convert their subscription into digital, lots of great success stories with that and good-looking emails, and sometimes it takes a little bribery. So you're seeing there the Herald Mail. They're giving away some trips to encourage people to activate their digital subscription, and those emails are a huge part of making that happen. And the email on the right from the Post and Courier, actually this is one that they sent just recently. They've got new apps, and the results are so great when you can look and see, hey, we sent out this email, and we had, 180 some people that went to the iTunes store and 102 people that went to the Google store. So you see it literally activated people to be downloading their new apps. And somebody made the point to me last week that just shows the number of people who downloaded the app for the first time. That doesn't even factor in all the people who already had the app, and that by sending this email would make them think about the fact that they've got this app and start using it more, or to check out the new app. So lots of ways to activate your audience. And of course, your events, whether it's special member events that you've got, those expos that you host, the little meet and greets that you do. And I'm seeing a lot more of that all around the country, and I imagine you're doing some of that as well, where you can target some of those people. Hey, we're going to be in your neck of the woods. We want to invite you. So use zip code targeting so that you're just reaching out to the segment of the audience that you want to be talking to there in that community, and invite those people to the events. And see a lot of the same kind of thing for advertiser seminars, et cetera, as well, where you can segment that audience to just the people in your database who are your advertisers and invite them to those different seminars that you host. Service alerts. There's plenty of that happened over the winter, in which, because of the just god-awful weather that we had in so many parts of the country, mine being part of that here in the Northeast, that there were days where just the paper wasn't going to get delivered, or it wasn't going to be delivered on time. And being able to send out those notices in advance of that can cut down on those phone calls into your customer service department saying, hey, where's my paper? And also can really help you guys promote, again, your website and your digital content, where I've seen a lot of people who said, even if they've got some kind of a paywall, we open it up, it's free today, the paper's just not going to get there on time, or it's not going to get there at all because of the snowstorm, but you don't want to miss the news, you can get it, click here. Recruiting carriers. This has been a campaign that I saw start in Elkhart, actually, Indiana. And what they told me when they started doing it, and they would be doing it to subscribers within particular zip codes around where they had routes that were available, it would always help them fill up those routes, where they're saying, hey, do you or somebody that you know looking to make a couple of extra bucks? We've got this opportunity for them. So those emails that you can send out, and you can see the clever one that the Post Bulletin sent out too about carriers wanted, helping you guys. If you're talking to subscribers, people who are already visiting your website, have registered with you, they already know about your brand. They may have that affinity to want to be part of your brand and being a carrier. And driving site traffic. Email is the best way to be driving site traffic. And in this case, they send a Friday email, just a business summary, and have said that their traffic to their business pages on their website doubles. Every single Friday they send this email out, and they can see that those business pages, the traffic spikes, and it doubles from the average day. So now that you've activated your audience and you've acquired some new subscribers, where there's certainly revenue in that, let's talk about how emails can truly be helping your advertising sales team be making money, or even growing with your own products in making money as well. And why email? Because people like it. It might have been around for a while. It might not be as shiny and sexy anymore, but it is the #1 way people say that they prefer to get communications from companies. So you can be sending those emails for yourself, and certainly be sending them on behalf of your advertisers. And that's where we see people using the data that they collect, the information that they're gathering from their subscribers as people register on their site, to be making money. And I mentioned some zip code targeting emails when it came to sending them out on behalf of finding some carriers, but doing that on behalf of advertisers and being able to say, hey, we want to reach these people who are within 7 miles of this new business location, or within 35 miles of that. Not necessarily blasting your entire audience all the time, but being very thoughtful in sending those campaigns out just to the people who it makes the most sense to receive it. And paper that had a list of about 41,000 in their database did a lot of zip code targeting, and they could attribute $40,000 in revenue in sending email campaigns, zip code targeted email campaigns over the course of a year. Birthday emails, and we'll take a look at a couple of examples of birthday emails a little bit later on, but that's a fun one that can just bring some incremental revenue and build some relationships for you by putting those advertiser offers in those automated emails that go out on a subscriber's birthday, if you're collecting that date of birth. And then you see in this registration, there's a bunch of different newsletters that people can sign up for. You want to give them the choice. What kinds of stuff do they want to be hearing from you about? Again, it shouldn't be all in or all out. It shouldn't be batch and blast to everybody all the time. Give them some choices. And in these couple of examples, the savings and special offers emails, those are the ones that you're strictly sending on behalf of your advertisers, and there's plenty of money to be made there. In a market last year, list size of about 40,000, it was $250,000 in advertising revenue, just the sending of emails on behalf of advertisers. Well, your list may not be quite that big, but take whatever the percentage is of that is your list size and take that percentage of revenue, and it certainly can add to your bottom line. And then contest newsletters. I'm sure many of you are doing contesting. We'll talk about different kinds of contests and being able to do lead generating surveys, and that's where this particular media company has focused a lot of their attention to that contest alert. They've got a list size a little bit smaller. It's in the 13,000 range, and last year that equated to $30,000 in revenue for them. So there's plenty of money to be made here, and just wanted to share a couple of those savings and special offers emails. I think one of the great things I like about these right here, too, that are from the Grand Haven Tribune, is that it's all about the advertiser, but they are making sure that people know it's coming from them. Same thing right here. They are using their header, the local media company, the paper's header, or in this case the footer, to say this email is coming from us. And one of the reasons that it's important to think about and do that is that, okay, I might not be interested in this, and I see it in my inbox, and I think, well, why am I getting that? And I might want to unsubscribe because I think, is this spam or is this junk mail? Oh, wait. Oh, okay, I get it now. It's from the Grand Haven Tribune. They send lots of good stuff out, so it's fine. I'm just going to ignore this one. So just not sending that email out without the context that it's coming from you is really important. We talked about contests and making money with them and how important email is. I love the story from the Findlay Courier because as they launched their email program last year, one of the first things that they did to help grow that email list, to be able to capture more email addresses to support circulation, was run a 12 Days of Christmas contest. And so they brought in 12 different advertisers, all who were giving away a prize and all who had a coupon to be able to bounce back and send back to each person who entered. So I could pick and choose the things that I wanted to win and enter those individual contests. They had 12 different advertisers, so add up 12 advertisers times the dollars that they charged them. And they had over 800 unique entrants across the different contests. So it helped them grow that profile data on their subscribers. It helped them grow their list and acquire more email addresses of their subscribers and some non-subscribers too, and certainly helps generate leads for their advertisers, because this was not just a simple click, enter to win. It was ask a couple of questions that were related to that advertiser. Have you been there before? Are you thinking about what are you planning to buy for the holidays? So collecting some data along with that entry helps those advertisers find the right prospects. A few more examples of those lead generating types of contests and fun contests, enter to win. Anytime that you've got that advertiser who is sponsoring those contests, you now have found a bunch of people who are interested in what they have to offer, whether it's the fact that they want to win these passes to Schlitterbahn. They're likely prospects for maybe going there. So you can go back and follow up on behalf of that advertiser to those people throughout the course of the year and be making more money by reaching out to them and telling them about special offers and events and interesting things from that particular advertiser. And collecting more data, from those lead generating contests, like we mentioned with Findlay. Are you interested in? So asking those couple of questions, and you can share the data as well. This is one of my favorite lead generating contests, and it's one that we've seen across dozens of media companies over the last year, and it'll be part of the webinar actually that we're doing on the 14th that talks about lead generation and making money with your databases. But because this is so tied in with everything that the Standard Examiner is doing, I wanted to just share this example of the virtual house. And it's a web page where each of the different rooms, so where you see the different advertiser offers, it's clickable. And with that advertiser sponsor, they're going to collect more information. You're going to grow your database. You're going to be able to identify who subscribers are and who subscribers are not, and make really great money at the same time. So an example here of what their house looked like, and the fact that they promoted it everywhere. They had, I'm trying to think here how many sponsors they've got. They had about a dozen sponsors, I believe, so that they were promoting those. And here's what it looked like. So great. I'm registering, answering a few questions about, am I planning to, do you know someone who needs an appraisal? So asking some questions that are appropriate for that advertiser, and then they're sending back that email at the end of the contest per advertiser. So you've identified people who are interested in that product. And oh yeah, by the way, if you've never registered for the database before, now you become a member of the database. You've answered that question, are you a subscriber? So you're finding leads not just for the advertisers, but finding leads for your paper as well. Events that you're hosting. Obviously, emails are a huge way to be helping you promote that. You're doing different classified offerings, those products that you have. Email really key to helping you make the money and making those things a success. Increased loyalty. So now we're on I. And just being able to remind people that their subscription is coming due or has passed. That unification that we talked about earlier, being able to pull in your circulation data into your database and set up emails that just are a welcome email that goes out and says, thanks, we appreciate you becoming a subscriber, here's all the great benefits you get, or the emails that are, oops, sorry, your subscription has expired, is about to expire, or we'd like to have you back because, you must be missing us by now. And those can be created and automated. In this example right here from the News Press, they've got a welcome. They're sending one out the day before expiration, 21 days after the date of the stop. And then that one, it's a couple weeks after the stop that is that comeback special offer. And those emails are just sent out to remind people, click here, call here. We're all paying our bills online, so when you can be automating those emails to help with renewing your subscription, you're certainly increasing your loyalty and reminding people of the value of it. And these campaigns, no matter where we see them happen, the open rates are phenomenal. 23 to 38% open rate. I see in some places, 40 and 50% open rates on some types of campaigns. And so these are your customers, and engaging them via email, they check it out, they respond. So using those emails to help you with that loyalty and retaining your subscribers. Just a few nice examples here of those different campaigns that are going on. I thought this one is pretty cool that says, here are some local stories you may miss if you let your subscription lapse. And taking people right back to their website, reminding them about the great content that they provide. So I love that email. But as well, here's all the stuff that you get. Here's the reason for being and staying a subscriber. Reader rewards. Lots of programs out there that I know people are running for their reader rewards, and the one thing that will move the needle in making sure people are aware of those campaigns and taking advantage of them is sending out that email. And a great case study from Pittsburgh, where last year they had the Pirates were getting ready to go to the playoffs, and so they had a pair of tickets, and it just drew so much activity to their rewards program because, boom, click here, enter to win. You had to activate your reader rewards, and they had about 4,000 entrants. 2,000 of them were newly registered in the rewards program, so they now had the availability to go back and get that, began to understand what those rewards were, and even some people who were just trying it out for the first time, so finding people who are potential subscribers or folks who are not already rewards members. This one, those kind of numbers from 2 or 3 emails that they sent over the course of 3.5 days, that's phenomenal results that they never could have gotten in any other way except sending that email and giving that super easy click to enter link in that email. Discounts, same thing. When you're providing those coupons and special offers for your Reader Rewards program, make sure people know about them, and some really nice open rates here that they're doing at the different forum properties. They've been doing some very targeted campaigns, and every single one of them is having really strong high performance and making people aware and activating them to access those loyalty programs. Members-only contests, whether you're taking advantage of partnerships that you have where you can get some tickets, or the tickets that you're getting, and maybe you've got an advertiser sponsor, in this case right here, that's sponsoring those monthly rewards emails, or even you're making this available only to subscribers, but if you are not an Advantage member, you can click here to do so. So these may be being sent out just to the people who are subscribers. In this case, hey, anybody can see it, but unless you're an Advantage member, you don't have access to it. So using those as incentives to get people to become members. Events, and I'm sure, because I know that he's a good friend of Inland as well, you've seen Steve Wagenlander talk about the different events that they did at the Post and Courier as they were launching their membership, and we see that all across the country as well. And you know, a subscriber-only appreciation night, access to something that you can't get otherwise just because you're a subscriber, so those events are great. And then I mentioned those rewards in terms of the birthday gifts, and where you can get those advertisers to actually pay you to include those coupons and offers into those birthday emails that every single day are being sent out automatically to people whose date of birth is today. All of those things can really add up to having your subscriber feel like they're very special and reasons why they need to remain a subscriber or become a subscriber. The C for compelling content. And that's probably the easiest thing that you guys can do because you have so much of that in print. But where can you be using email to make sure that people are aware of that, highlight it? And I mentioned this on the email webinar we did a week and a half or so ago. This email, I love it because it is the daily headlines email, but done with a little bit of a twist. And it's got 3 local stories, 3 local events that are happening on, and 3 special offers. And so every day you can count on those in your inbox. And it's just a little bit different than the traditional daily headlines and really a focus on me, the subscriber, and the benefits there. And if you want to do a recap of what's happening in the paper, highlight, spotlight, make sure that people know about your great content, or we can review newsletter, great opportunity as well. Breaking news, sports news, a couple of the different types of email campaigns that we see that always have really strong subscription in terms of registration to receive those, and very high open rates. So if you're not doing breaking news, absolutely an opportunity to be, again, spotlighting your compelling content, driving people back to your website to be able to access that information and see that you guys are breaking the stories. And then, of course, all those special sections and the different content that you have, email becomes a great way for you to be able to highlight and say, hey, be sure you're checking it out on Sunday because we're going to have this here. So quick summary about how you can make your own magic, just all of the things that we talked about. First, it starts with unifying your email list. So you've got all that data of subscribers and non-subscribers and contest participants all in one location. Making sure that those emails are mobile friendly and thinking about the design of those. And again, I'll preach the no big image only emails. Acquire new subscribers through email, activate your audience to drive them to your products, and be making money through those emails and lead generating contests. And of course, all those different ways that you're doing membership and rewards to make sure that people understand that there's that loyalty and that you appreciate them, so you want to increase that loyalty and use email in order to promote those efforts. And then, of course, create and deliver your compelling content. That's it, Patty.
Okay. Wow, that was a lot.
I know. I flew through it because I promised people a half an hour, and I knew you're sharing the deck, and I'm always happy to answer questions or dig into more detail. But hopefully everybody can take all that stuff and start making their own magic.
Yes, well, we always allow an hour just in case. So before I let everybody off the phone, though, again, we have some great expertise on the phone right now. So if there are any questions for Michelle, anything you'd like to have her go back and recap for you, any particular information or specifics you might want on something she discussed, now is the time to do it. We, oh, well, I have a question already. What is a good target revenue per 1,000 for email marketing?
Wow, that's a great question because, and it's interesting, I've been having this conversation with somebody else right now where I see so many different variations. I don't see a lot of selling emails in a cost per thousand world. Tends to be very flat rate oriented and driven very much on kind of what balances out with the other pricing that you're putting on your digital efforts. In places where I do see kind of a cost per thousand, or if you want to start doing the math to figure out your flat rate, you know, $15 to $25 CPM is kind of a range that I typically see.
Great, thank you, Michelle. So any other questions, go ahead and type them in. I'm just going to make a few. Okay, I got another question. When launching a new email, is it okay to pre-populate the new list with a list that is signed up to something else?
That is from a, and I'm not a lawyer, from a legal technical standpoint, you know, and a lawyer recently said something about, you know, can spam means that you can spam people. You know, you've got their permission and you can send it to them. And so we see people do that a lot. It's like, okay, great, you know, we've got their permission. And when I talked about those different segments, the contest list and the news alerts, et cetera, where maybe all you had was everybody lumped in together into one list and you sent them everything, being able to opt them into each of those things to start and give them the selection to opt out is a very legitimate strategy. It sometimes is really more about what you are comfortable with on your side. But yeah, you know, if you've got some level of permission for them, and depending upon what it is, I think you can be, you know, somewhat comfortable in assuming that they want to receive that other content too. And honestly, I think that's a little bit of a change in mindset over the past few years that has occurred as well.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. So now I'm going to tell people to go ahead and give us any of their last questions, and I'll just make my announcements, and when I'm done, if there's questions, we'll do that. We will send you a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, so that's your reminder, Michelle, right?
Yep.
To send that to me. That's number one. Number two, again, watch for our summary. That may be out this afternoon, but it may be tomorrow morning since we were on a webinar doubleheader day. It's an all webinar all the time today. But hopefully you can take these those summaries, as I mentioned, and use them to recap to your staff or to folks maybe that missed the webinar. Hopefully they will be some a nice, concise document with the top takeaways that Michelle covered today. And of course, you'll always have the PowerPoint presentation. Lastly, I want to remind everybody that this is a three-part series, and the final of the webinar three-part series is on May 14th, the same time of day, 2 o'clock Central Time, where we will wrap that up. Wrap up our email series. So, Michelle, I have a question for you, and you can answer this offline. I'll send you the information. Louis is looking for how much the service costs.
Okay.
So, Louis, Michelle will reach out to you, or you can see Michelle's information right on the line, or right on the slide there, her phone and her email, if you'd like to talk to her offline or some more specifics about what they might be able to do for you and with you.
And we'd certainly be glad to do so because, you know, everything that you saw here today is stuff that people are creating with our platform, and a lot of the strategies being developed through that partnership that we have. So that's the fun part of the job. So I love talking about that.
Okay. I just want to give one last shout out to our webinar co-sponsor, our webinar sponsor, which is Creative Circle. All our webinars are free to members, and we appreciate the support of Creative Circle in helping us to deliver these to our members, the 60 webinars that we do every year. I forgot to mention, folks, that you'll also get an eval that will be coming, and if you have just 2 minutes, probably doesn't even take 2 minutes, 30 seconds to fill it out and let us know how we're doing, and even better, give us some ideas on what you'd like to see coming up on our webinars. So I think that's it, Michelle. I got no more questions, so we are wrapped up. Thank you very much, Michelle. We appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you. Are happy to do so.
Take care. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.